Hey now, we are in one of the biggest shams. Well, he's in the Hall of Fame now. He should have been in the Hall of Fame when he was alive. Like when I think of Hall of Famers that are not thinking in the Hall of Fame when they were alive. Uh, Number one, Buck O'Neill, and probably number two, Marvin Miller. Marvin Miller was a pioneer when it comes to establishing baseball, getting rid of the reserve clause, getting players the salary they deserve. And you can argue that these players are all overpaid, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to hear that. We're not here to argue that. The reserve clause was a horrible. Only Marvin Miller came in and he unionized baseball and he took the average salary in 1966 of 19,000 to 326,000 in 1982. And before you say like, oh, they're getting paid too much, blah, 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 the money was still coming in. It was just going to the owners instead of the players. So don't hate the game, hate the players. And the players were the owners. So I remember in like around 2000-ish, they made a election in the Veterans Committee where they said like you don't need to be like tapped directly to the Hall of Fame to get into the Hall of Fame. And they even pointed out that Marvin Miller is now eligible on the Veterans Committee for the Hall of Fame. And to be honest, I didn't even know who Miller was. I had to look him up, and immediately I'm like, wow, this guy deserves the Baseball Hall of Fame. He changed baseball, whether you like it or not, incredibly. And so I immediately remember $3 on eBay. I bought a signed check because there's a ton of checks that he signed. He is not a rare autograph. My friend lived in New York City near him. Marvin Miller was known, like he lived in New York City, and if you drop stuff off at his apartment, the gatekeeper, whatever guy would come in, he would take the stuff. You come back a week later, everything was signed. He didn't care about charging money. I do recall that he definitely did at least one show for like a payment. I think it was like $75. So I got his autograph then on a baseball. Speaking of which, let's take a look at the autograph analysis of Marvin Miller. And we can talk to more about the shame that he didn't get in while he was still alive. So we're going to shift right here. I don't want Gemini. So you can see right here, Marvin Miller. He signed pretty practical hand his whole life. The M's loop around right here. Well, I mean, there's only four. And again, this is not a rare autograph. He signed a lot of autographs. Probably the rarest thing about him, there's not that many signed official cards. Bill V, Hall of Fame collector, would know more about that. He had an M with a loop down and an M loop down right here. He signed his full name. It's pretty much on a straight plane. And because he never actually played baseball, his autograph is not that much in demand, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Again, this is an older signature, Marvin Miller. There's no reason to pay more for a vintage signature. Here's the signed biography. You can see right here, the M's come up. They should be above his name right here. They go around halfway through the M's and they come down. He's pretty good about signing his full name. And if we go to eBay real quickly here, I mean, you can see you could buy an autograph for $35. There's a postcard for $77. Even that seems high. A baseball, yeah, it's about $100, $150. Again, there are no Hall of Fame autograph baseballs because of the fact that he got in, unfortunately, after he passed away. So if we go to unsold items, like I said, these are not terribly rare autographs. I mean, you may pay more because of the content of what he signed a lot of letters. Again, nothing here jumps out as fake right here. You seem a little bit high to me. Like you said, there are a lot of these checks out there that he signed. I wouldn't pay more than $100 for a Marvin Miller autograph. It was like by the time he passed away, it was pretty much a given that he was going to get in. And like I said, he was an excellent, excellent signer. Again, TriStar 206. Again, these are all good. You must see the M wrapped around with their full Marvin Miller right here. It kind of bounces all over the place. Like you said, he lived, I believe, like nine. Personally, I wouldn't spend more than $100 on a Marvin Miller autograph. But again, let's go back to Marvin Miller. I mean, they took a long time to get him in the Hall of Fame. And like, it was kind of, the odds were stacked against him because every player thought, put this man in the Hall of Fame. He made me money. But when it came to putting him on the ballot and electing him, because he was on a veterans committee, it was stacked more with the owners and executives who obviously hated Marvin Miller. Marvin Miller took money out of their pocket and put it into the players' pocket. The nerve of someone doing that in baseball. And it's amazing about Marvin Miller to this day. Baseball is the only of the major sport that doesn't have a salary cap. You could say that's because of Marvin Miller. He established that policy. So let the players get paid what they want. There's an excise tax, but not a salary cap. So a true pioneer of the game who deserves to get in. And I'm glad he finally got in the Hall of Fame. It's funny, he said right before he passed away, like, listen, if they're not going to put me in while I'm alive, just don't put me in. And I can understand that mentality. Louis Tiant said the same thing recently. But of course, after he passed away, they changed the balloting again. They changed the makeup. And they put a lot more players on the Veterans Committee, and he got in. So good for Marvin Miller. He's in. Speaking of a player who didn't get in during his fair due that should have gotten in, and we're going to talk about him next, and that is Minnie Minoso. So thanks for watching. Hit the like button. As always, keep collecting.